Welcome to Ovation. In this video, you'll learn how to use assignments to help members gain better communication skills by creating unique opportunities for them to practice certain aspects of communication, different scenarios that you'd like them to focus on, and customize those scenarios so you can concentrate on the skills that you'd like them to learn. Let's take a look at how we can create and use assignments in Ovation. In order to create an assignment, we go to our organization account and go into assignments. To organize the assignments, I can create folders, for example, by subject area or maybe course codes. In this case, we have a course in entrepreneurship, and I want to create an assignment on elevator pitches. So we're going to create the assignment, and we're going to have the students practice giving elevator pitches in order to secure funding for a business idea that they have. I'll put in a name for the assignment, and then I'll put in a description for the assignment. This will be available to the students so they know exactly what we're looking for in this assignment. And I can put in an optional due date as well if I need it handed in by a certain time. We're going to practice elevator pitches, but we could choose any scenario that Ovation offers. And with the elevator pitch, my venue is going to be the elevator. Other venues might have other options. Assignment rules will allow me to customize the way the assignment is run to get the most out of the assignment. For example, I can set the required submissions to be more than one, meaning that students will need to go through and complete the scenario more than one time, giving me the ability to see their improvement and progression as they practice more. For this assignment, I'll have them practice 3 times at a minimum, and if they'd like, they can practice even more. I can have them submit after the due date if I like. If I have a due date, they can discard attempts. I can lock the scenario so that no changes can be made by the students. I can disable training such as feedback on filler words and such during the training. I can hide the AI generated feedback scores if I like, and I can go in and hide scenario modifiers so students are unable to see any modifiers that I put in. Let's take a look at modifiers. So underneath the elevator pitch, I'll make it 90 seconds, and then we'll go in and we'll start modifying this scenario. I can add multiple modifiers in here, which is using AI in order to determine things that I might want to look for specifically. So in this case, for my modifier, I want to look at how confident the students are in their execution or in their pitch. So I'm going to prompt the AI to look for things such as the level of confidence that I have. You can get quite extensive with this, and you can add multiple modifiers for each of the assignments that you create. I can also go in and after I've chosen the modifiers that I'd like, I can go in and change the factors. We have the built-in factors that are included with Ovation, but if I have a custom factor that I'd like to focus in on, I can go in and add that factor. So in this case here, I want to look for a factor called experience. I'll name that factor, we'll call it experience, so I'll just type that in, and then I'll put in the AI instructions. Again, I can put in fairly extensive instructions here, and now I have my experience factor. I can go back and view that. So now I'll assign it to a specific user or group of users. So I can go in and select everyone or unselect individuals. Once I've chosen who I'd like to give the assignment to, you can see I now have a full assignment page here where I can see who's been assigned, whether they've submitted the assignment, whether they've completed it, any activity on there. I can add additional reviewers of this assignment if I like. I can review the rules that I created, look at the scenario, look at the modifiers I put in, and the factors I have, including my custom factor, which I can view from here as well. Now let's take a look at what the assignment looks like in VR, and then we'll come back and take a look at all the reports that are generated when I complete the assignment. I've logged in as the user that I've given the assignment to. The user can also go into their folder. Underneath assignments, they can see any assignments they've been given, as well as how many they've submitted. If I go in, I'll start the assignment. I'll receive information about the assignment and whether I've done any of my submissions, due dates and such. Let's take a look at the assignment. So I'll select that assignment. It'll give me a description of the assignment, tell me that I need to do 3 submissions in order to complete this. So let's begin my first submission. It will take place in an elevator. It's my only option. Notice I couldn't make any changes if I wanted to because the scenario is locked. So let's go into the elevator. Notice here I have the assignment, I have the duration of the assignment. Let's just change that. Oh no, I can't make any changes because the assignment is locked. So I'll go ahead, and you can see a lock up here as well. I'll click continue. Notice that the scenario modifiers are not shown because I have hidden them for this assignment. If I wanted the person to see the modifiers, those would be available. If I want to customize it, it will say it's a locked scenario. So I have nothing left to do now except the assignment. Let's go ahead and go in and start the assignment. Hey Sandra, how's it going? It's great to see you today. Beautiful weather that we're having. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the new business idea that we have for our marketing division. I think that by using some social media...
All right, I see where you're coming from. You've got a decent track record with social media, and your idea to leverage that for revenue growth is practical.
I abbreviated the 90-second interaction here on the video, but you'll notice that the AI was beginning to give me feedback on my experience modifier that I had put in before I began the assignment. Let's take a look at what other reports I've received. I'm now back at the Ovation website, and I've logged in with an account that has the ability to review this assignment. If I have a lot of assignments, I can go through and filter by username, email, the submissions, completed assignments, or by activity. I only have the one here, so I can see that this particular username has 1 out of the 3 required submissions for this assignment. They have not completed the assignment because they will need to do 3 submissions in order to complete, and I do have the date of last activity. I can now download all of the reports, again based upon my filter. So in my case, it'll just be the one assignment, one user. I can then open up that folder, that download, and I'll have a text file all sorted by the name of every user that's completed assignments or worked on assignments, again depending on my filter. And when I go into that folder and open up the text file, I'll receive a lot of information. I'll receive information about the assignment, the submission, number 1 of 3, whether there's a due date, details on the assignment, a complete transcript of what was said during the assignment, and at the bottom I'll receive analytics. They'll talk about the voice quality, whether I was maintaining a good speaking rate, and so on and so forth. For example, things like pause words or filler words, things like repetition and the words that were most used. This will allow me to assess the student and have a conversation with the student about where they can improve. The ability to create, customize, monitor, and maintain assignments is a key feature of using Ovation in an organization. It allows us to really help people develop their communication skills by providing a structured approach with modifiers, custom factors, and all of the things that we would want in order to make Ovation tailored to exactly what we need it to do for our organization. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.